Hey, how's it going? First off the bat, I'd love to say a massive thank you for watching the podcast, for jumping on, checking it out. This was a really awesome conversation. It's been in the works for a while now, and it was great to finally have Jackson on and have a bit of a chat with him. Just wanted to say a massive apology first off before we get into this episode. There was a little bit of an issue with the audio recording. This was the first time actually filming an episode outside of our studios, so my mic in particular was cutting in and out a little bit. Jackson's luckily stayed on point the whole way through. However, I have had to go through and in this edit sort of manually adjust the audio levels throughout the podcast. So there are some times where, some volumes might be a little bit higher, some might be a little bit lower. Unfortunately, it's just a situation that, can't be avoided at this point. One other thing, because we were filming out of the studio, we didn't have continuous lights going. So there is a bit of a change in the colors, especially towards the later section in the video. If you are watching the full video version of it, it just makes things look a little bit darker. So apologies for those two things, but thank you very much once again for watching. Hope you enjoy this episode. There was a lot of really cool points in there. So please do like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you'd like to talk, or who you'd like us to talk with next, and what you'd like us to talk with Jackson about on the next time we have him on the show. Cheers, guys. Welcome back to Fit Focus Media. Show we put the focus on fitness. Now, today we are joined by a very special guest, that being Jaxon Tippet. Now, who is Jaxon Tippet, you might ask? Well, he's a person, just like you and me. Jackson, can you do me a bit of a favor, though, and give a little introduction for the people who might not know you?
Cheers, brother, for having me on. It's been a long time coming.
Mate, it's been a hot minute, hasn't it?
Yeah, man. I love podcasts. Hey, how's yours going, first of all?
Honestly, it's been fantastic. It's one of those feelings, like I'm going into gyms and people are coming up to me saying that they're loving the show, they're listening to it, and it's a great feeling. I never really expected that, and although the numbers are still small, it feels significant. So yeah, I'm loving it. Getting to meet people like yourself, it's awesome.
Yeah, I think like the podcast is so much different just to like posting stories or posting reels or whatever, because nobody dives deep into that, that real information or whatever you want to talk about, that life stories and the mindset, the mental health. And that's why I like my podcast so much, is because people know you so much differently when you speak openly for an hour, or even just the guests you meet, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like some of my best friends now are just people I've had on my podcast, and it's crazy, man. It's like, it's the best world, bro, the podcast world. So,
honestly, I think it's like the best of both worlds. It's one of those situations where, normally with the short attention spans that people have, you don't really get to do those deep dives, but in a podcast setting, people, they'll actually take the time to sit down, to listen, and they love it, and it's great to be part of them.
100%. Yeah, and I appreciate you having me on. So I'm Jaxon Tippet. I'm 27 years of age. I am a online coach. Is probably my main profession. And then on the side, I do a lot of modeling brand work, and that can range from anything from clothing, skincare, supplements, any company that likes my look and wants me to expose it through advertisement or stories or pictures or videos. I work with them. Yeah, man. And then I've got my podcast, the I Am Me podcast, which I've been doing for 2 years now. It's a massive passion of mine. It's not a paid project, but it's probably one of the things I actually enjoy the most. It's something I do want to keep pursuing and keep building, and maybe go more into like the motivational speaking and guest speaking, and dip into like even getting into schools and talking about drug addiction and all of these kinds of things. So that's a real passion. But on the side, it's just, online coach, modeling, and that's about it, man. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, going with that sort of podcast route first, because it's funny, as you said, that's one of my main goals in life as well, is I would love to be able to go and speak to people, especially, people in school situations. It's one of those things where, growing up, whenever we would have someone come in, I really enjoyed those days, just getting to hear some of the craziest cool stories from people that you would never have expected. And I think being able to sort of go in and do that, at some point in the future would be honestly a dream. Is there anything in particular that's, I guess, made you want to go down that route?
Man, I just want to help people. Like I feel like if I had have maybe got the advice from someone that looked like me and was younger, they come into a school and told me about their past and, just life, just what happens in their life. Like you got to actually experience it. It's different when you experience it. You know what I mean? Like, when someone comes in as a guest speaker and they talk about, oh, don't do drugs or don't do this or don't do that. It's so much different if you've actually, so what I'm going in and talking about, I've literally lived and breathed. Do you know what I mean? Like I've done the steroids, you know, I almost went to jail, you know what I mean? Like I nearly lost my family. Like it's just a lot more raw and deep when you go talk about it. And I feel like it'll impact a lot of lives.
Yeah, one of those situations where you really do sort of need to have like, you know, that first-hand experience to really, I guess, get in depth with it and feel like, you know, that you can sort of, I guess, talk to an audience and not feel like you just, you know, coming in completely out of your ass. Sorry, I was getting completely distracted by that. You're like, no, I need my hat. Give me the hat. We must have it. Is this still live? Yeah, we're still going. It's like I was like on a train of thought and then just got completely thrown off by that. My bad. Jesus, where was I going with that? But I mean, so is there any, I guess, key points in your life you think that, you know, are really going to sort of hit home with that audience? Like, is there anything that you feel has been like a key turn moment for yourself where you've, I guess, made a realization that you think is important to share with people and that you think people can get a benefit from knowing about?
Where my life changed around, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like I've said this a lot on my podcast, but when I got caught with steroids in my bag, I was driving and I got caught with steroids, just personal use. I got caught with the steroids in my bag. That happened not once, not twice, but 3 consecutive times.
Yep.
As you probably know, it's a class 1 drug, so it's pretty much guaranteed jail time. This is cutting it very short. So went through all the court systems, got my lawyer and all of that, was pretty much facing court jail time, and went through it, and I don't know how, but I got let off and I did not get jail time. And that was like my slap on the wrist. Yeah. And I felt like that was like, I got done once, I got done not twice, not 3 times. There's no way I'm going back a 4th time. And pretty much on that day, man, like not literally on that day, but on that day, I felt like God gave me a sign that he literally gave me like a second chance and he saw more in me. So I turned my life around, and that was the changing point. Like I had a very bad relationship with my parents because I was rude, I was arrogant. I lost my girlfriend just due to, just being a loser, man. Like I just thought I was king shit. And I lost a lot of friends. It was a very rough time. And this was all due to steroids. Now, speaking of that, not everyone reacts like this to steroids. You know what I mean? It's all individual based. But at the end of the day, it was a drug that wasn't for me. And as soon as I got it out of my life turned around. And that's why I want to speak more openly about it, is because I feel, I'm not here to condone and say don't do steroids. You know, anyone can do what they want in life. But I just want to give my personal advice that, you know, 10 out of 10 people listening to this, you'd be better off without them. And it's just straight facts.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where a lot of people sort of get into it without actually at least doing the research even to see if it is something that would be beneficial to them, to see if it's something that would fit into their lives properly. And then you jump on, you run a cycle, and then you end up coming off crushing yourself. You feel like absolute shit, and then you're trying to pull yourself out of the gutter for the next 6 months and you don't know what the fuck's going on. Was there any, I guess, major negative effects that you found like yourself that came out of doing that?
100%, man. So, what a lot of people don't understand is that you feel amazing when you're on it. You feel like a god. You're strong. You know, you look better. You know, your libido is through the roof, etc. But what you don't understand is there's a downside. When you come off, this is where nobody thinks about and nobody talks about, and this is what I want to talk more openly about. And this is why probably 9 out of 10 people in the gym right now that are on a steroid cycle, they don't actually come off. And you'd be familiar with that. And there's a reason for that, because they can never fucking deal with the fact that they're going to be smaller, they're going to be weaker, all of these things. So they just stay on.
Hey, man, it's hard to see yourself drop in strength so dramatically, to drop in size so dramatically. It's one of those situations where, you know, at the end of the day, once you see yourself at the best, you never really want to come down from that high. And it can be not only hard physically, but majority mentally. You know, coming off of that sort of stuff, crashing your testosterone, it's going to make you feel just more anxious, more stressed in general. But then also seeing the numbers come down, it's just a ticking time bomb to make you absolutely just feel like garbage.
100%. And this is like all drugs, not just steroids. You go see crack addicts, you see heroin addicts. Why are they on constantly? Because they don't like that downfall. They just want that high. It's the same as steroids. We just want that high. So what I want to speak more openly about is there's a lot of downsides to it. Is when you actually come off, clearly you're going to get weaker. You're going to lose size majority of the time. You're going to probably have anxiety and, you know, have a bit of mental issues because you start to look at yourself and you're not the same. But the number one thing that people don't understand is you get usually libido issues. Yep. And this is where a lot of people don't really understand is you're so, I'm going to be open, you're so fucking horny when you're on it. You are, man. You know what I mean? Like you've just put synthetic testosterone in your body to, you know, 5 or 10 times what it is. Clearly you're going to be like, fuck, you know, who can I root? You know what I mean? But what they don't understand is once you come off, so you've just put that synthetic testosterone in you, so your body goes, okay, I don't need to produce it anymore because I'm just getting it day to day. Yep. So when you come off, you actually, not everyone does, but what usually happens is you shut down. Your testosterone shuts down. You know, all of that, your thyroid even.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have these issues like I suffered it very, very bad. I couldn't get an erection. I literally could not get an erection. And I even used Viagra and that. And this is where all the relationship problems came in because I was trying to have intimacy and sex with my partner and she was like, well, why can't you get hard? You know what I mean? Do you not find me attractive? And man, I can tell you right now, it doesn't sound like much right now, but that was the fucking hardest thing of my life. You know, when I'm sitting there and she thought I didn't love her because I couldn't get hard due to my past steroid cycle. And then it just causes issues, man.
Man, it's like there's absolutely no good way to approach that conversation. Like, did your partner know that you were using stuff at the time? Or?
She did, but she couldn't understand why I couldn't get an erection.
Right.
So
even being able to, like, I guess, give the facts about what was happening, just could not accept that
but you know what girls are like, man. And she literally went into tears. She's like, am I not pretty enough? And I'm like, you're kidding me. Like, you know what I mean? This is very in short, but it's like, I hear it a lot, man. A lot of people suffer relationship issues due to the fact of steroids.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's one of those things that does get overlooked a lot when people are sort of talking about the negative effects of it. You know, they do talk about the fact that you're going to crash your testosterone, but they don't actually, I guess, go into the depths of the down carry, what that actually means for your life.
Yeah.
Like, not only is that going to impact, you know, your mood, your energy, your work performance, but also just your ability to have a reasonable conversation with someone, to, you know, care for someone, to love someone, and to have, like, you know, them feel like you're part of what's actually going on. It can be a complete downhill spiral.
Yeah.
For yourself, did you do any form of, I guess, you know, like, did you do much education before you got on or before you went into that realm of things?
Yes and no, not to the degree of information I have now. And that's what I want to, that's literally why I love talking about this, is because I want to educate people on, man, I've studied, I've talked to so many people, I've experienced it myself. I know a lot about it now. And if I could go back in time, there'd be a million things I'd change. Yep. You know what I mean? I kind of just jumped in and I literally was one of those guys that just went on Google forums, you know what I mean? And just, what do I do for my first cycle? Literally. And man, there's a million different things that people write on there. And I just followed one of them. And it just, you know, obviously I got results, but what you don't understand, it's like an addiction. So I added in something and then I got addicted because I looked so good and I was getting such quick results. Yeah. I just kept raising the bar, you know what I mean? Kept adding something in or increasing the dosage to the point where it's like, what do you do now? Like, your health's starting to deteriorate, your relationships are starting to deteriorate. All for what? You know what I mean?
Did you do any form of PCT coming out of that, or did you even know what a PCT was at the time?
Yes, so I did PCT at the end.
And you didn't did that, I guess, did you find there was much benefit to that when it came to, like, those, I guess, negating some of those negative side effects, or it still hit you just balls to the wall hard? It
did, but it could have maybe scraped off 10 to 20%.
Yeah, it's like it was still bad. Yeah. It could have been a lot worse, is probably what you're saying there.
So you hear a lot of people that are PCT and it'll be like, and for people listening, that's post-cycle therapy. Yeah. So basically what it's trying to say is you're trying to recover from, you know, to get your natural system back.
Pretty much. You're pretty much saying, hey, it's time to start working again. We're not putting that in us anymore. Let's kickstart things. Let's get back into the groove and let's get back to feeling some level of normality. It's, you know, taking drugs to counteract the drugs, oddly enough.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, never really a good spiral to be on, is it? When you're just using one drug to counteract the actions of another drug. It's a bit of a rabbit hole you can sort of run down of screwing yourself over.
Yeah, 100%. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. Like, I'm not going to go too in depth with it, but it's kind of like it defeats the purpose. If you think about it, you're on a cycle, you PCT, then majority of people, they go back on a cycle. So if this is how I break it down into a nutshell, and it's very, very true. It's like being a crack addict, getting clean and going to rehab, and then let's get back on crack. It literally defeats the purpose, man.
That's a pretty good analogy for it.
It's just like you've just tried to get clean and get all your blood levels back, and now we're just going to go abuse it again. It doesn't make sense. It's like a yo-yo effect.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, I guess having that experience now, the way you talk about it, is that something that you feel you will ever do again in your future? Or is that just something you've completely ruled out at this point? Or is it, I guess, just trying to develop that education and then maybe at some point down the line? Or like, what are your actual, I guess, you know, further future thoughts on it now that you've had that experience and you've gained the knowledge that you currently have?
Well, yeah, as you know, like I don't really want to get bigger. I don't really see the need for it.
It's one of those points, hey, it's like you only get to a certain limit, and then beyond that point, it's really just other guys that think you look cool the bigger you get. So it's like you might as well just be fit, healthy, you know, lean, feel good about it, and there's really no need to sort of push it beyond that point, is there?
Like once you've got like a base, it's like unless you're like a diehard competitor that wants to compete, you want to put on size, but it's like, no, you know yourself, man, when you bulk or you lose, you get a bit fluffy in that, you feel like shit.
Man, I'm not going to lie. As soon as I start to like drop weight a little bit, I actually feel so much better than what I do being bigger. The bigger you get, the more sluggish you feel, the more you're carrying around. You still have like feet, like, you know, even at the moment, like not being on high calories, it still feels like I'm sort of force feeding at times. And I actually prefer just to space the meals out a little bit, trim down a little bit. You see the abs starting to come through and you're like, damn, I look good. The veins are popping out when you're training. I don't know. I feel like there's this massive thing about just trying to get big and be big. Personally, I mean, I went through that phase as well. I think at the moment it's just not really the direction I think is the best for myself. And it seems like you're in a similar point with that.
Yeah, man. Like I think it's like everyone. As a teenager, you want big biceps, or it's just like a thing, man.
Yeah.
You know, males, they just want to get big. But I think as you start to get more in depth and maybe more like as you mature more, you know what I mean? I think it's starting to die off, and it's more like, okay, let's get healthy and let's just feel good, and let's not puff when we walk up the stairs, you know what I mean? Like there's just more to life, especially me, myself and you. We're more business related now. It's like, why do we need to be walking around at 100 plus kilos? You know what I mean? Like, let's just be normal. There's so many downsides to it. Health related, food, your food bill will be through the roof if you're trying to... Drugs, you're going to have to spend money on drugs if you want to get, you know, big. And it's just like, all for what cost? So I've just decided to throw it out. And to be honest, man, I'm such a better person without it.
Yeah, nice. So if you don't mind me asking, when it comes to the, I guess, you know, you are very well known on social media. That's something that you are, you know, you have a very good presence on. Were you using steroids before, like, I guess, blowing up on social media? Or is that something that was amplified by your social media presence?
Yeah, good question. So no, I pretty much started and then my platform blew up.
Right.
And that was based on basically, I did look good. I looked good. I posted a lot of stuff, but I pretty much started and then my platform blew up. And then I got so addicted to it because, like, you know, social media, I'm lost for words.
The bigger, it's like, the bigger you get, the better your post, like the more interactions your posts get, then you feel good about it, and then you don't want to stop the thing that's getting you those likes and those comments because that's what's fueling your business, and it makes you feel good when those, you know, come through. So it just puts you into this loop of being like, well, I need this now to sustain this.
Yeah.
What I'm growing.
But what I was trying to say is I was comparing myself to the best of the best.
Right.
So I was comparing myself to the biggest fitness models. I was comparing myself to some of the best looking guys in the world.
Yeah.
And what you don't understand is 9 times out of 10, the photos you see, they look like that for maybe a number of 5 days of the year. And what you don't understand is most of those guys, they're genetic freaks.
Oh, 100%.
Also, what you don't understand is most people you look up to in terms of like a fitness model or a celebrity, they're probably on steroids themselves year round. Yeah. So it got me into this bad stigma of, why don't I look like that? So then I'll maybe have to use a bit more steroids or do a bit more of this to try and match myself to the top.
Yeah. I think that plagues everyone to a massive extent. You know, even myself going through high school is one of those situations where it was right in that period where, like, you know, Gymshark was just becoming a brand, and, you know, it was
like the end goal of every teenager who was getting into the gym at that point was a Gymshark sponsorship. So it was like you were comparing yourself to the best of the best of the best. People were rampantly, you know, fake naturals and not sort of talking about anything at all. And it just set such unrealistic expectations for everyone that you, like, it honestly, like, it caused a lot of, you know, body dysmorphia issues, making me go from, like, personally from being obese to anorexic to just bigorexic to not knowing what the fuck is going on, just based on comparing myself off of social media. And especially in those early days where it was just running rampant and there was sort of no control at all, or there was no honesty around the situation, it has the potential to cause some serious damage. And I mean, it's good to see that people are being, you know, more open with it now, and it's becoming a little, I guess, a little bit less taboo to at least talk about and educate. But still, there's this massive problem that I personally see in social media where, especially younger people, where you just compare yourself to others and you're never going to be good enough in your own eyes, when realistically, from an outside perspective, you're probably absolutely killing it and doing a fantastic job.
Absolutely. And what I learned was, like, it's not about your image. It is literally how you make someone feel and how they feel when they leave you.
100%.
So when you leave this room right now, if you feel awesome and I treated you right, that's what you're going to remember me for down the track. You're not going to remember me for, oh, did I have a big bicep vein, or did I have some abs? You know what I mean?
He does have big bicep veins, by the way. Just so you know, I can see it popping through right there.
He's lying.
We trained arms just before. He's got big bicep veins.
Oh, you're funny. No, but it's true, man. And I just, also another thing that it took me a long time to actually do was love myself. It sounds so simple, man.
Mate, I can relate 100% to this.
Yeah.
It's only very recent, and it's still a massive up and down.
Yeah.
Like, it comes in peaks and waves. Like, me personally, I have had a lot of issues with, you know, depression in the past, and really, you know, you can't really say that word on podcast, but negative thoughts, to put it lightly. And it takes a lot to work through those times, and it's a constant battle, but it's taking those steps to actually recognize, hey, there is, I guess, a problem here. I'm not feeling great. Accepting that, you know, you have to go through those low times, and you have to, I don't know, people are trying to get out of it, and they never want to feel sad. They never want to feel hurt, but you need to feel to you know, to grow from it. Like, if you want to be happy in a sense, that you need a comparison ground to actually base that on. Like, you need to feel like shit sometimes to know what, you know, feeling good is actually like.
Yeah.
And oh, sorry, I was just gonna say, like, it takes a long time to learn to love yourself, and really, it's just an ever-growing progression as you develop your own personal journey. I don't think you're ever, you know, 100% at that point, but it's making the call to be like, okay, I'm going to pay more attention to this, and I'm going to work at it, and I'm going to develop it and make it a priority in my life.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, you know, so many people seek validation from other people to, oh, I need to please them to be loved, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's, at the end of the day, if you don't love yourself, it means jack all. You know what I mean? Like, so for everyone listening, like, you should really work on it, and you should not critic yourself and, you know, downfall yourself of, oh, why am I not like this, or why do I not look like her, or whatever it is, because we're all unique in our own way, and you're never going to be me, and I'm never going to be you. And this is where it comes to play, is that you literally, probably who you're looking up to, no matter what you do, you're never going to look like them or be them. So why don't you just love yourself, and then the right people will come into your life and love you.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Is there anything that you've done or you found particularly helpful in actually, I guess, you know, working towards that, or, you know, like getting yourself out of those dark situations to be better?
Just, man, to be honest, I do a lot of affirmations. So I did consistently look in the mirror, and I just told myself that, you know, you are beautiful, you know, you're worthy. I did that for about a year straight, to be honest.
It might sound crazy to some people, but it does actually help sometimes.
It does, man. And then I just really had to cut off the fact that I'm not going to please everyone in life. Not everyone's going to love me. You know, or, like, I don't need attention for likes or whatever it is, and just be me. And it's kind of crazy when I actually just be me and try not to seek validation from other people. I actually started to get more recognition, and people actually started to like me more, but the right people, not fake people. You know what I mean? But affirmations are huge, man.
It is. And something I am kind of curious about, you know, seeing this massive, I guess, you know, journey or transformation that you have gone through, now going into, you know, becoming a coach and that is your primary thing. Where was, I guess, like that tipping point or that passion, like the urge to go and coach people? Like, where did that stem from?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was just, fitness has always been a massive thing for me. And I find what you put into your body food-wise and the way when you go exercise, man, there's nothing compares to it. It is literally the biggest antidepressant. You know what I mean? And that's what I really found is when I was really struggling deep in my rough times, just simply going and doing a workout or going for a walk changed my life, bro. So it's like I want to implement that on other people, like obviously to a degree, you know what I mean? And then the fact of if you see people that eat junk food, they never eat a whole food, you know, they sit on their ass all day. Why are they so depressed? There's a reason, man, that what you put into your body, I'm a massive believer in it. If you nourish your body with proper food, you know, proper hydration, you know, no fucking cigarettes, no alcohol, no, you know what I mean? You feel so much better. And it's just the truth.
Can attest 100%.
So I just feel like if I can implement all of like the little strategies of, you know, nutrition and how to train properly and how to conquer your mindset to other people, that's what I really enjoyed. So that's what made me want to start coaching.
Yeah, nice. So how would you describe your own style of training or the way that, you know, I guess like you like to train?
Man, like now or in the past?
A bit of both, mate, a bit of both.
Man, so in the past, it was like a chore, you know what I mean? So I actually belted myself just for an image. So I would hammer myself on cardio if I ate more food. I would train, you know, so intense just because I wanted to be the biggest. Now it's all enjoyment, man. I go in there for endorphins. So, you know, I will go train to get like a high and to feel better and to maybe release some stress from last night or whatever. So it's very different now. I think it's all about balance.
Yeah, 100%. I think I get where you're coming from there. Like, I mean, I know when I was going through that really rough patch, sort of getting into the fitness industry when I was younger, it was like I couldn't go out for dinner because, you know, if I couldn't count the macro, if I couldn't know to the exact calorie how much was in that food, it just wasn't happening. I would have full on just mental breakdowns in the middle of a family dinner with people, and it was terrible. And you go from one extreme to the complete opposite. So I think it really does come down to finding a bit of a balance in life and actually enjoying it for a minute. And I same as what you were saying, I've really been enjoying lately. Like, I still have my program sessions that I've been doing, but then on a weekend, you know, just going in and doing a pump up session, having a bit of fun with it, training with friends or just with, you know, people like yourself, and doing styles of workouts that I'm not used to. And even what you were saying before, one of those biggest things that's been like a massive benefit to myself, morning cardio.
100%, bro.
Morning cardio.
Yeah.
Not even about like the calories or this, that, that, but just getting up and getting your body moving, getting the blood flowing a little bit, helps your brain actually start to wake up and just feel good.
Bro, I do it. I actually can't remember a day in the last 2 years I haven't gone up and gone for an hour walk. And I'm being serious.
That's a commitment, an hour in the morning.
But bro, I do not dread it. And this is what people understand. It's just, you should try to change your mindset. And this is what I do. I'm big on gratitude now. So if you actually change your mindset when you wake up, holy fuck, I'm so grateful to be, you know, looking at the ocean and I can actually move my legs and I can go for a walk and do all this. Imagine if you were a paraplegic. Yeah. Imagine if you were in a hospital. Imagine if you were dead. If you start to put that through your head and you start to like, instead of trying to think, oh, why do I have to go for a walk? It changes your whole perception, man. It's like, oh my God. Because I remember when I was injured and I was in hospital, all I wanted to do was get up and move. Yeah. So you got to change that perception. You know what I mean?
It's funny. Like a few weekends ago, one of my mates came around, and I'm big on like whiteboards. I do like all my brainstorming and all that on whiteboards. I just love being able to put it out there and just sort of, you know, put it out there, get it out, and then erase and start fresh. And one of my mates came over and on one of my little boards, he just wrote, "How great is it to just exist?"
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the next morning I woke up and I saw it, and I've just left it there because every time I see it, I'm like, damn, you know, that is actually such a good point. It reminds me of that night. I'm like, you know what? It is great just to exist.
I really like that, man. I actually might write that after mine.
It's a good one, hey?
But it's so true, man. It's like, what if you weren't here tomorrow, bro?
Yeah.
Like, everything you're stressing about means fuck all, and it really does.
Mate, literally the morning after that, like, so after I saw it, I'm going out to get it, like, we're finishing off the website, getting it fully redone. Going out there, I get hit by a car.
Yeah, literally, man.
Like, I'm on my scooter, like, there's a car here, I'm going across, the car here waves this car out, they start coming out, didn't look this way, straight into the front end, like clean me up.
Oh, you actually got hit?
I got hit by a car.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just like right after seeing that as well, like you see the message, like how great it is to just exist. Literally probably 20, 30 minutes later, hit by a car.
Yeah, wow. I'm a big believer in energy and like the universe and all of that type of stuff.
So am I. Like getting signs when when you need to be told something, you will get a sign to be like, wait, pay attention to this.
Yeah.
Like, we've shown you this, implement it and move forward with it in mind.
I'm a massive believer in that. I get it almost all the time, and it's like, it almost like freaks you out. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, for example, this is just one example. I was talking to my roommate about trying to get with a meal prep company just to save some time and stop cooking and all of that. And I was just like, I love my Muscle Chef. I don't know, they're just awesome, bro.
They're delicious.
They're delicious. We'll plug them for.
I was gonna say, I gotta ask, like, what is your favorite?
What's it called? The chicken, the crumb.
Chicken. Oh, Chipotle chicken's my favorite.
I've never had that. No, it's it's like crumb chicken with roasted potatoes.
Yeah. It's like crumb chicken, like wedges and like a bit of sauce. That is pretty good.
It's fucking off tap.
The Chipotle chicken, you got to get around that, man. It's like a burrito bowl.
My Muscle Chef, you better definitely send us some meals because we're plugging you. But dead set. I was like, I'd fucking just love. This was literally 2 nights ago. I was like, man, I just love to get some Muscle Chef meals delivered to me every week. Bro, I swear to God, we're walking along the beach the next day. I have a DM from them.
Mate.
I'm like, literally, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, isn't that a coincidence?
When my Muscle Chef slides into your DMs, it's like that'll make some fucking tender chicken, you know what I'm saying?
But that's just an example, man. I'm a massive believer in it. So yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm actually kind of curious about like that sort of thing in general. When it comes to like, say, like sponsors and stuff, how did that even like kick off? How did you go about like managing that, or was it something like people just out of nowhere started going to you? Have you ever like gone out trying to seek for sponsorships, or how does that happen?
Bro. I've definitely seek for more have come to me, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. But yeah, it was very simple, man. Like I would reach out to a few brands, or maybe someone would contact me and they would like, love your look, you know, want to do a shoot, now singlet, blah, blah, blah. And it just led from there. It's more about getting seen, you know what I mean? Like, as you know, if I see your content here and there and that, I'm like, fuck, he's good at what he does. That's when you start to get more work, you know what I mean? So I think it just built over time that I was modeling for them, or I was on a podcast, or I was on that page, and then, you know, obviously just being a genuine person, being respected, that's when you start to evolve and level up.
Yeah, 100%. And I am actually also kind of curious, has there been any like real highlight modeling gigs that you've done? Like ones where, you know, like they slide into your DMs and you're just like, no way. Like, yes.
I just think
you gotta like keep it cool and be like, yeah, I'll talk to my manager. We'll see if we can work that one out.
Man, to be honest, when Culture Kings first reached out to me, I was pretty damn stoked. Like, that's my, you know, besides gym, that is what I'd wear on a day-to-day basis. They've kind of got pretty much everything you need. And I was just like, damn, that's like, fuck yeah, like that's sick. You know what I mean? I'm also a massive hat person. So I just was like, fuck, new era caps left, right and center. Done. But yeah, man, I've had heaps. I'm grateful to work with every brand. I think every brand's different. And it's cool to actually, I don't just work with the brand. I literally know every owner of every brand I've shot. I jump on a phone call with them, and I think that's why I'm different to other people, is I have that personal experience. So if some little brand reaches out to me from New South Wales, I will literally say, let's jump on a call and have a chat, and let's talk business properly. You know what I mean? Not just, oh, you know, I'll charge you, you know, $1,000 for 10 photos. Yes or no? That's not like communication to me. And
more personability to
100%, man. Like even yourself, we jumped on a few phone calls. I didn't just send you one message, meet me here. You need to be more like, you know what I mean? You need to just
a bit of a vibe for someone to see if, like, you know, if they align well with what you're trying to do. And just to, it doesn't feel, I don't know how people do it. It just doesn't feel right to me to do that. It's the same as even with this podcast, you know. like I personally didn't want to just show up and shoot a podcast. I was like, you know, let's go train.
Yeah, I like that.
At the end of the day, like, you know, I'm a gym rat like everyone else, you know, and I love to go and get a pump up session with someone before because it's a good way to, you know, not only break that ice, but to be like, hey, we're on the same level here.
Yeah.
You know, like we're in, like we like the same sort of shit. Let's just go in, kill it, have a bit of fun, and then we'll go have a chat.
Yeah.
You know, it's not this super serious thing, and it just gets you to know people.
Yeah, and I love that, man. I think that's maybe that could be what separates you from other people that are, you know, content creators, or because I've worked with many videographers in my life, man. Don't think I've ever had one that has trained with me. Hey. Swear on my life. No, I've never. Like, they just come, they shoot, they leave, see you later. You know what I mean? I think it's different, man. And I like that, because now I've respected you more, and, you know, it'd be cool to just do a session together, even if you don't shoot me, or, you know, you jump on my podcast, and that's how life works, man. You know, you give me something, I give you something, and that's how it is.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you saying that. And it's like, at the end of the day, my goal in life is just to meet as many people as I can, to talk to as many people as I can, and just hear the stories, the journeys, and just be able, like, to be able to document that.
Yeah.
Friggin' awesome.
But the right people.
Oh, 100%.
The right people.
Hey, I mean,
yeah.
Saying right is a bit of a, I guess, a tricky statement, because it's like, you know, anyone can, I guess, be right in a sense. Like, you know, I'm also a pretty good believer in, like, you know, not like good and bad, or a little bit of a, you know, putting those labels on things can be a little bit, I guess, tricky, because I think it comes down to context in a lot of situations. And I think that, say like a situation that might be bad, or an action or a person that might be bad, there could be opposite sides to look at that and examine from that could be beneficial, you know, to a different audience. And I'm not, I guess, wanting to say that my perspective on things is necessarily 100% correct. So if someone can present something that goes against what I say, but they can do it in a logical way that is reasonable and that, you know, I can understand, then I'm open to always hearing that side of things. Yeah.
No, you're going to love the podcast, man. The more it goes, the more, like, you just get addicted, man. Like, because you have so many different guests on, you know what I mean? Like, I love it, because it's not like everyone I talk to is completely different. Like, different story, and you know what I mean? You leave feeling like something, you might have gained some knowledge, or, you know, you gained a best friend, or it's so good, man.
Have there been any, like, I guess, standout guests that you've had, or like people that you've just wanted to talk to, and when you finally got them on, you're like, that's pretty cool? Yeah,
Danny Green, I was hell happy with. Yeah. Man, like, obviously he's an iconic boxer. Yeah. When he said yes, I was like, fuck yeah, like, this is unreal, you know what I mean? Like, I was jumping on a phone call with him before the podcast. It's like, I'm talking to Danny Green. I was literally just talking like a brother.
The ability to do that is pretty cool.
And then when I did, he was just so humble, man. Like, you know, for someone that's so recognized, he was literally just like a normal friend. Yeah. It was crazy. You know what I mean?
And is there anyone you've got, I guess, in mind that you would really like to shoot with in the future?
Man, there's so many people I want to interview. Yeah. Like, shoot or interview?
Interview. Like just talk to on a podcast environment. Get to know on that deeper level.
Man, there's so many. I'm just going to go to the highest of highs. Just say Joe Rogan. I'd love to have him on.
Mate.
Imagine.
Stop it. Mate, the ability to talk to Danny Rogan would be just fantastic.
I just think he's killing the podcast scene, and yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But
see, I think when I think of, say, someone like Joe Rogan, I'm also in the sense of, like, to be able to talk to someone who has talked to so many people, just his you know, like what I was saying about, like, you know, I'd love to just talk to as many people as possible to hear what their experiences is. Like, he has all those experiences from all these other people. Like, his perception on things is just so, I just feel like it'd be so, like, you know, beyond what you're
right. He's literally interviewed everyone. You know what I mean?
Hey, he hasn't interviewed Jaxon Tippet
yet. Yeah,
what the fuck? Joe, you got to get onto that, man. Come on, mate.
I'd like, actually, and someone he's a real big idol of mine, and a lot of people don't like him, but I'd love to interview Mike Tyson. I love him, bro.
Oh, man.
He is the GOAT, man, and his mindset and how he evolved, if you actually look at his back-end story, and now what he's doing, and how he, you know, went through all the drugs, and man, he's got a really cool story.
Yeah, I actually started, like, watching some stuff about him after seeing him on Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
like, someone had mentioned I needed to watch that episode, and when I did, I was like, damn, Mike's got a story and a half.
Yeah, bro, he's
crazy.
He's one badass motherfucker. No, seriously, I wouldn't fuck with him.
Yeah, 100%. It's one of those things. I mean, I guess for me personally, you know, the goal is I would love to continue, I guess, you know, working with federations and shows. I have a massive, you know, just personal interest in bodybuilding as well. I love it. So it'd be great at some point, you know, for us to be able to cover, you know, more of those, like, I guess, IFBB shows, the international shows, and to be able to interview some of those athletes. Like,
absolutely.
To the big stage. Like, I guess one of my dreams would be someone like Chris Bumstead.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. I
think that would be amazing. Just he seems just so
he's very humble,
earth and so humble.
Yeah,
and just that cute little Canadian accent, man. I just want to see how it clashes with the Aussie and chop it up. I reckon that'd be dope.
Is there anyone you want to get on from Australia in terms of the bodybuilding scene?
Joseph Mencel. So owns MassiveJoes.com.
Yeah,
I love the guy pretty much. You know, he was one of those people when I first got into fitness, the Arnold Classic Expo in Melbourne. I went to that, and you know, just me, this little scrawny kid. I'd only been in the gym for a couple of weeks, and I met him, had a chat with him, got all my stuff signed by, you know, I got Rich Piana to sign some stuff as well while he was still alive, which was fantastic to meet him. And then, you know, the next year came around, and I went back to the expo, and I went up to Joe again, and he left up the conversation where it started, the conversation where it left off. Like it was the day before.
Remembers you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it was like 8 months, a year later, I went to like one of their new store openings, and they were doing like a talk. And after the talk, go up to him, and he just starts talking to me like it was yesterday.
Different, when people do that, they actually remember you. Like, you know what I mean?
Like to have someone that you look up to, not only in a physical standpoint, but also a bodybuilding aspect, because he is a phenomenal athlete in his own right. I would very much love to speak with him. I think his mindset is fantastic around business, around work ethic, and that's probably my number one.
Well, if he's listening, I think he'll come on.
One day, mate. One day we'll work there. We'll get there. It's always good to have these like little goals, so that way you can sort of put yourself in the position to step towards them.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what a lot of people in life. There's so many people that live their day-to-day life without goals. Yeah, it's like, man, that's boring. You know what I mean? Like, how could you go from, you know, being born to being dead and never setting a goal? Could you imagine that? Like, I thrive off goals, man. I think it's like, we were talking about this before, like, I don't take days off just because I feel like I'm not doing something or getting productive, or I just feel lazy. You know what I mean?
It does cause problems, especially I found like relationships and stuff like that, because you just feel like you can't, you know, you can't split your time effectively between work and life, especially when you're, I guess, trying to do something on your own where you don't have, I guess, like a defined start and stop point. Like, you can literally go 24/7 if you wanted to. It makes it very hard to separate. And I think the biggest negative aspect of that is when you get into a position where you start becoming unproductive because you're trying to make, you almost get like so burnt out that you then become unproductive. And it's like, even when you're being unproductive, you're not actually resting.
100%.
If that makes sense. It's like, even in the times where you're not actively working, your mind is still checked into it, and it still feels like you're working, and you never fully feel rested or disconnected from it.
Yeah,
that's a massive issue that I've personally found.
I think we all suffer it. You know, we all just balls to walls, and you know, sometimes it's good to just rest, recover. You know,
take a step back,
not do this, not do that. Like, and we're all our own worst victims of that. So I think we should all take some time to just be ourselves. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Sure.
We don't always have to accommodate for someone or do this or check in on someone. Sometimes it's okay to just check in on yourself.
Yeah. Speaking of goals then, so what are the goals for Jackson moving forward, man? I mean, you know, launching, I've been seeing all the hype build up for the coaching, you know, like going to, I guess, you know, be like taking that a lot more seriously, like really pushing out on like hard on that. What are the goals for yourself?
Man, like, I don't, as silly as it sounds, I don't really know what direction I'm going in. Like, obviously I want to expand my coaching. I want to keep helping people. My main goal I'd love to do is I would actually love to start guest speaking around the world. And that's probably my biggest goal. It's a long goal. You know, I don't think it's going to happen in the next month, but it's something that I'm just so passionate about, this type of stuff, but in front of a massive audience. And if I can just transform and help people's lives, or someone takes something out of it and Maybe I saved someone's life, you know, from dying, or that's, I don't know. There's something about it that I just want to help people. And I love helping people with my coaching, but I love speaking openly, and I'd love to be a motivational speaker, you know, world-renowned motivational speaker. That would be the end goal.
Yeah, I suppose that it's that one thing of being able to like just spread to a mass audience all at once. I think that's one of the real benefits of something like a podcast setting is, you know, anything you say literally has the ability to go viral in an online sense. And if that can reach someone who is in a really dark point at that point in time, you have no idea, but it could actually make a massive difference in that person's life and just their outlook on it. It's a crazy thought, but it's also a very, I guess, empowering thought, and a very good thought to have.
Yeah. I think the ultimate goal for everyone should be to help people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's very simple, but you know, imagine if everyone just helped one another in one way, shape or form.
Yeah.
Imagine how much better this world would be.
Yeah.
Simple.
I guess I do, if possible, want to touch a little bit more on those sort of, I guess, you know, the darker times in a sense, because again, I feel like that's where you really want to be able to help people and sort of guide people through those difficult situations. You know, I mean, you already talked about, you know, your past steroid use in the past. Was that like a gateway drug for yourself, or was there something else that led you into that realm, or?
As in taking steroids?
Yeah, like I mean, as far as like drugs in general, like was there a particular thing that sort of like, I guess, like pushed you into that realm, or like led you down that path?
Yeah, the reason I used steroids was it was for people to like me more because I look better. Plain and simple. It sounds so fucking pathetic, but a lot of people do it because of that. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm not happy with my body image, or I'm not lean enough, or that's why a lot of people use steroids. Do you know what I mean? To be more confident or to be liked more. And that's the reason I did it. Yeah.
I suppose it's kind of funny how at the end of the day, as you were saying before, it's like you can do all these things, but if internally you still don't, I guess, you know, love yourself, you don't have that.
And I didn't love myself. And that's the thing. I love myself more now, and I look completely different. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you don't need these things to love yourself. And that's the message I want to get out there. You know, it's the same as girls. Like, why do they go get their boobs done? Why do they get lip filler? Why do they do this? Why do they do that? It's because, you know, they want to look better. They're not confident, or like, that's usually why they do all of this. And it's like, at the end of the day, if you just love yourself, or if you're trying to do it to impress a girl or impress a guy from the opposite standpoint, then you're attracting the wrong person. Because like, if you just love yourself and you're just normal, you will find that partner that will love you for who you are. And it's not about, oh, how big you are or how lean you are, or fuck, your boobs look good. It's literally for who you are as a person. And it's simple, man. You just got to love yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Now, Jackson, I am sort of like looking at the time as we sort of tick away. I know that you're a very busy man. You do have a few things you have to get onto this afternoon. Is there anything else in particular that you wanted to, I guess, touch on? Anything that you think could be beneficial to someone who might be listening, who might be going through a rough point in their life at the moment, or just general information you think could be helpful to a viewer?
Man, we could talk for hours.
There's a million things.
We could talk for hours, but I just want everyone out there to, you know, if you are going through a hard time, just remember that tomorrow's a new day, and don't beat yourself up too hard. You know what I mean? We all struggle. We all have stress. We all go through hard times. It's normal. It's how you deal with it that is what is going to be the outcome. Always remember that, you know, myself, my DMs, you know, probably yourself. There's many people out there that if you are having a dark down time, or you do have very raw suicidal thoughts, because I talk about this a lot, whatever, depression, reach out to me, reach out to you. There's someone out there that will listen, and that can make the biggest difference. Don't bottle up your thoughts, because it's the worst thing to do. Go out and exercise if you're feeling shit, like we just talked about. Contact a friend. That's just the main things, like, because I feel a lot of people suffer depression, they're not happy, they're not motivated. And I just feel like if you just reached out to someone on that day, you got up, you went and did some exercise, you took a deep breath, you remember that tomorrow's a new day and everyone has a bad day, that's, you know, I think you can get through it. And I truly mean it. If you want to reach out, send me a message and I'm more than happy to have a chat.
Yeah, and I think that really does. I guess like one of my key points is just understanding that it's okay to not feel okay all the time. You know, it's not okay. Sorry, it's okay to feel a bit crap sometimes. That's oddly enough part of what makes you a human. It's one of those amazing things is you get to feel what sadness feels like. You get to feel what pain feels like, and because of that, you also get to feel what happiness, what joy, what all these other emotions feel like. They're just moments in time. They're how you feel at a particular point, but they come in waves. Okay?
Just like with men, like it's a massive thing. It's okay to cry. Some men think they can't cry because it's not manly, or you know what I mean. It's very okay if you're a man to cry.
100%.
Let it out. You know what I mean?
It's like it helps.
Yeah,
it helps a lot.
So all these things, like, you know, it's okay to be, just not normal for a day. So just remember that.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Jackson, I want to say a massive thank you for coming on the show. Hopefully, we'll tee up another one sometime when there's a little bit more time. We can go even more depth on some of these topics. But we've been trying to line this up for ages now, and it's been fantastic to have a bit of a chat with yourself, to get to know you a little bit more. I think there's some really good points in here that people could definitely find some use from. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on, man. All the best with it. I'd love to do another one. Like, I've gone on many guest podcasts and then done multiple appearances because, you know, we just touched on the finer details. Like, we could have went right into relationships or steroids or
100%.
Do you know what I mean? We could have talked about my day in the life, my nutrition, or, you know, tips that I could give. Like, there's so many things. And this is why I actually like doing just shorter podcasts, because it's like a tease. And people, they dive in and then they're like, oh, well, we want to hear that. So
exactly. It's like you test the waters, you find out, hey, like if there is a particular point that we touched on here that you'd like to go,
send us a message.
You know, leave a comment, send us a message. We'd be more than happy to tee it up again. It's been fantastic to get to know Jackson, fantastic to talk with him. And I would absolutely love to do it more and really jump down, you know, all of those rabbit holes, to be completely honest.
love doing that, man. Even if, you know, we put up a story and, you know, the listeners can do a Q&A. They can ask questions, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we do this podcast for the audience. If no one listened to this, we wouldn't do this, correct? Yeah. So we do this for whoever is behind that camera or listening. We do it to try help you or motivate you, or, you know, the fact that you might like it. So if you do like this, reach out to us and, you know, we're more than happy to do something else. And yeah, you know, obviously thanks for having me on, and all the best with the podcast. And, you know, I know you got your mindset and your head screwed on, and just keep pushing, keep getting bigger guests, and consistency in time, everything will happen.
Have a bit of fun with it.
Yeah, just have fun, bro.
Oh, thank you everyone for watching this episode. If you did like it, be sure to drop a like, drop a subscribe, do all that good stuff. Go check out Jackson on Instagram. Go check out the IME podcast. It's pretty damn awesome. And thank you once again. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.